realistically, if I were going to buy this home all over again, what price would I feel comfortable offering that would be reflected of fair market value? Now, you don't have to answer this question. It's just a good question to keep in mind as you look at this information.
Hey, time out. Why are you adding that? Like, you don't have to answer that question.
Because sometimes they start answering that question on the like, we haven't gone through the comps, and then they start telling me like a price.
I'm just reflecting, like, even if they did do that. So it's like, my experience is that it's really, really helpful to look at this information through the eyes of the buyer, because I'm aware that the buyer's hat's different than the seller's hat. Now, almost invariably, when you say that, they always nod their head. Okay. They understand intuitively what you're talking about, right? So the question to be asking yourself as you review this is, if you were a buyer and you were going to buy this home all over again, having seen what's active on the market, not selling, seen what's sold and closed most recently, the question is, realistically, as a buyer, where you would feel comfortable making an offer that you believe would be reflective of fair market value. Because more likely not, a buyer would feel pretty similar to you. So the reason why they're responding, it's because of how you're asking. You're saying, like, what price? Notice I didn't say that. So the reason that, like, the thing to be asking yourself is, as a buyer, if you were going to, buy this home all over again, having seen what's active on the market, not selling, seen what's sold and closed most recently, the question to be thinking about as we review this information is, where would you feel comfortable making an offer that you believe would be reflective of fair market value? Because more likely not, a buyer would feel pretty similar to you. Does that make sense?
It does. I feel like sometimes the way I say it, I confuse them. They just kind of look at me like...
Right. So can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Say it the way I say it.
No, I know. When I try to say it like how you say it, they don't even like, they're like, can you say that again?
Yeah, but like, we'll keep practicing until it can come out like clearly and concisely. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Anything worth doing well is worth doing poorly before you can learn to do it well. I didn't sell 2,000 homes by accident.
I think it's also, you're asking a question and then immediately you're asking another question, or you're making a demand.
Right. Yeah. So it's like taking them away from it, because I'm like, does that make sense? And they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, cool. So we'll review this information together as a team. We'll see that realistic range emerge, right? We'll discuss strategy, because again, price is a strategy and attempt to get the most, and I want you to feel comfortable with the one we end up choosing. I can answer any questions you may have. And then if it all makes sense and you feel comfortable and confident, we can take the next steps. Sound good? And then proceed. But I can tell this is much better, because I know that previously you were not framing this and you were positioning yourself like you were presenting price from a place of authority. Like, I know you're telling a lot, you're speaking a lot, which, guys, I need every one of you to pay very close attention to me, okay? The way most of you guys have learned how to present price is in a very antiquated way where nobody has access to any information. That's when that was developed. Do you realize that?
1975.
50 plus years ago, there was no internet, guys.
Where's it?
There were websites to be able to go to look, see any information about real estate. You had no idea what your neighbor sold for. You had no idea what was active on the market and their prices. Nothing. The gatekeeper was the agent. So in that context, the strategy of presenting with authority was very effective. Yes?
Yes.
I study homes and prices every day, therefore, yeah. It was very effective. Well, we don't live in that world anymore. We live in a world in which your homeowner, your seller that you're going to meet with them, knows more about their property than you do. They look at it every day and refresh it on these sites to see how much it's worth. They can see every single one of the ones that have sold and all the ones that are active. So imagine you have some person, guy or gal, walk into your house who got a 75 on a test, $1,000, and they're not a felon yet, and wants to pontificate to you about the market and what your home's worth. Does that not seem ridiculous? Now you wonder why. Everybody look at me. You wonder why you're arguing with people all the time. It's because of the way you're presenting. Your authority is the lowest form of influence, guys. Lowest form. So you'll notice that language in there, which is like, hey, we'll see this realistic range emerge. We'll discuss strategy, because price is a strategy and attempt to get the most. And I want you to feel comfortable with the strategy we end up choosing. Whatever you decide, I'll support you 100%. And then, if it all makes sense and you feel comfortable, confident, we'll take the next steps. Notice, am I coming from a place of authority? Like I know and you don't. Like I'm smart and you're stupid.
No.
Nope. We're going to, instead of me kind of dictating to you, this is how it's going to be, I'm pulling up next to you and I'm like, you know what, Derek? I know you look at this all the time, dude. My job is just to help you to interpret this information so we can come up with a game plan to help you to get what you want the time you want. Does that make sense? And I help you to self-discover, because you will always argue with me if I tell you. You know who you'll never argue with? Yourself. A very elementary form of selling is I know and you don't. That is little boy and girl stuff. You want to advance to the next level? I'm going to get you to tell me.
That's the next level for sure.
It's the next level, bro. So, but I know it's improving, right? The frame, but stick to it, bro. Have trust, bro. Have faith, dude. I'm telling you. You get really good at framing the conversation, you'll have less friction and less pushback. And then when they do push back, well, like Salo was like, yeah, my home and my yard's like, yeah, I get that. And trust me, I'm on your team. I want to help you get every penny possible. At the same time, unfortunately, neither me nor you get to dictate value. I know you know that. The marketplace does. So what we can do together as a team is we're going to look at this information really through the eyes of the buyer and see what's available for sale, what's active on the market not selling, what's sold and closed most recently. And then we can see other homes that have been sitting on the market for an extended period of time and not selling, and some stats and things that are going on in the marketplace. And then ultimately, we can decide where the marketplace is showing us seems to be reasonable. And then from there, you can make a decision as far as how you wish to proceed, because whatever you decide is perfectly fine. I'm here to help you, so I'm not here to talk you into doing anything. Do I sound attached to that outcome at all?
Nope.
And whose decision am I making it?
It's their decision.
And whose decision is it, by the way? Theirs.
It's theirs. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It makes sense. I got to.
I know. And look, frustration is a precursor for learning. I can hear it in your voice.
What happens to me at the end of this, they're like, okay, so what price should I list it for?
Yeah. And then you need to learn how to come back to that. So instead of verbally vomiting, you're like, okay, great. And I appreciate you asking. I really do. And let's imagine for a moment, again, that you were like a buyer in today's marketplace and you were going to buy this home all over again, knowing that the last closed sale was at 650 and knowing that there's one active on the market right now at 650 and they've been there for 40 days, 45 days, and they're not selling. And seeing that there's one pending right now, that's the same square footage and the same community at 635. I mean, honestly, if you were a buyer, where do you think you would feel comfortable making an offer that you think would be reflective of fair market value? And then shut up. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, but that's a lot less than what I was thinking. I get that. And I want you to know, I'm on your team. The more we help you sell it for, the more we get compensated. I'm also aware that the difference of $20,000, it's more meaningful to you than it is to me in terms of a percentage as far as professional fee is concerned. At the same time, ultimately, what something's worth is what somebody's willing to pay for it. I mean, you know that, right? So let me ask you a few questions, because again, I'm here to help. I'm not here to talk you into doing anything. Is it an option for you to not sell this home and still move?
No.
Is it an option for you to rent the home and still move?
Nope.
Okay. So you've decided that really, in order for you to get what you want in the time you want, it means you would have to sell the property. Now, through no fault of your own or mine, the marketplace has really changed here in our geographic area and in our county. And with inventory going up and demand going down, whether you're selling cars, boats, or houses, what happens to prices when that happens, Mario?
They usually drop.
They usually drop. And I agree with you, by the way. And what's interesting is that the data is showing us just that. Are you beginning to see why there was a home that sold for $650 5 months ago, and now there's one that's same as it under contract at $635 as an asking price?
I can see that.
that. Yeah. So here's the interesting thing, again, because you don't have to do anything. My job's to help, right? It's never going to twist your arm in any way. Is you have a couple choices to make, and the choices are yours. One, because you've already decided that you're going to sell the property, you can position the property higher, let's say like 650. Now, the neighbor's done us a huge favor. They've already tested and it's not working. So more likely than not, and this isn't me being negative, with a high degree of probability, we'll have to revisit this conversation. Now, can I share with you what would be my concern for you and your family if you chose that approach?
Please.
Well, we can end up creating a situation where we chase the market down. Because again, through no fault of your own or mine, market dynamics have just shifted and changed. I don't know if you know this, but year over year, the inventory here in Oxnard has gone up by 30%. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the sales volume has actually gone down 4% year over year. So what my concern for you and your family would be is if you did utilize that approach, choose that approach of starting higher, then instead of the 635 of what something's under contract in the marketplace, 3-4 months from now, it could be like 615. I mean, you don't want that, do you?
No.
All right.
Definitely
So then that leads us to the second option, which is where we can see what has recently gone under contract, and that was within the last 30 days at 635. We can position the property competitively there, dramatically increase the probability we can get you an offer that's acceptable, so we can extract the capital and you don't have to worry about this downward pressure moving forward. Now, at the 635, you would actually net 250 from the sale. Would that allow you, Mario, to make this happen? This move happen?
It would. It would allow me to, but I obviously want more.
I know. And I know we all want more, unless it's around our waist, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, with all that being said, I guess based on what you're looking to accomplish and why, based on the dynamics of the marketplace that we find ourselves right now, and based on what's most important for you in terms of this move and the time frame you'd like to make it happen in and your desire to net the most, which one of these options do you think would serve you and your family best?
The lower price.
Yeah. And I'm in agreement with you that seems to, really serve you best. So now that we're in agreement with regards to how to position the property to make sure we maximize value and extract as much capital as we can and get you out to your next destination, do you have any other questions or concerns for me before we take care of the appropriate paperwork?
No, I just mentioned I'm not going to sign anything today. We're going to pray about it.
All right. Okay. Time out. We could go down that road if you want.
I know.
And I would handle that. And I can handle that. But what are you noticing as we do that?
Yeah, you're ready and prepared to frame the conversation at every level. And when you get interrupted, you're ready to go back. And
hey, by the way, you know what was so cool? I didn't even plan this. I was interrupted midstream because my wife's car, the Bluetooth clicked on, and I picked up right up where we left off. Do you see what I'm saying, though, bro? So, again, you have to be. So what's happening? I just want you to be clear, Mario, because you went through this process first with setting appointments.
Correct.
And you got real frustrated. You hop on these calls and you be like, man, I'm like, all right, cool. And then we'd show you, okay, work on this. Then you got good at setting appointments. Then you know what happened?
I said I was as good as Jose.
He said he was as good as Jose. And I was like, don't ever say that again. Okay. Then, so he got full of himself. Yeah. He started feeling himself. He's like, I'm in the building and I'm feeling myself, bro. I'm setting appointments. I'm the man. I'm like, okay, cool. But then he goes on 10 listing appointments. You know how many listings he takes? None. And then he shows back up to the call. He's like, man, this isn't fair. Nah, nah, nah. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I would bet you $10,000 right now that you tell me everything that's happening on those appointments, and I will point out to you areas of improvement. I promise you. Yes? Because this is what we do, bro. In the face of adversity, most of us, despite our posts of #thriving, and despite our posts of working out in the gym, when you are hit resistance, most of you guys crumble and give up and cry. That's what you do. No, it's the market, it's interest rates, it's the current administration, it's not fair, blah, blah, blah. That's what we do. So you came back and I was like, all right, cool. We worked on that, yes?
Correct. Yes, we did.
So 4 probate listings in 1 month and made $60,000. Yes.
Yes.
He's like, yay. Then you know what he does? He calls me up. He's like, oh man, it's really challenging, bro. I'm like, what? He's like, well, with all these pendings now, and it's pulling me off the prospect. I'm like, yeah, it's because you have no systems. Guess what? Starting all over again. Don't have any systems. It's so hard. How am I gonna put it together? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you know what's happening? He's learning, refining. He's in the fire on this call. Yes.
Definitely.
Fire, right? And you're learning, oh, wow, I need to get better at this conversational price. And I can hear it in your voice, the frustration. You hear it. It starts to come out. You're like, yeah, but they say this, and yeah, but they say that, and but.
Correct.
But frustration is a precursor for learning, guys. If you find yourself frustrated, it's because you're in the process of learning something. Your brain is trying to figure it out. And the only way you can figure it out is with reps. And if you stick to it long enough, because it took him 6 months of going through that whole process before he started to take listings. 6 months of refining his skills. So this is just another skill, Mario, that you need to learn. Then you know what's going to happen? We're going to hop on this call and you'll be like, yeah, dude, I got all these listings and I got to get price reductions and they're fighting or they're presenting offers and they're $50,000 less than the asking price. What do I do? And then we'll work on that skill. And then you know what's going to happen? For 3 or 4 calls, you're going to be like, oh, you'll be frustrated and mad. And, this isn't right. And this is what they say to me and blah, blah, blah. And the reason why I'm going in with this, because A, I know you can take it, but B, guys, the story of one is the story of all. Yes? How many people have behaved like that besides me? 100%, bro. Here's my suggestion to you. Here's my prayer for you. Stop looking for shortcuts because they don't exist. Jack of all trades, master of none, guys. So here's what I know to be true, bro. You master this sales skill in a capitalistic society, you will be disproportionately rewarded for your efforts. Let's go be great. Talk soon. Peace.